Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Thule Stravan Backpack, which is a really solid tech and everyday bag. And we've looked at a lot of different backpacks from Thule on the channel, and I'm always impressed with the variety of bags that they offer. So many different aesthetics, organizational layouts. They have travel bags, camera bags, daily bags. They always have very solid offerings. And the Strävan in particular had caught my eye just because of the aesthetic that it has. It's not quite as techy as many of Thule's other offerings, but it still has many of the things that I've enjoyed in their other bags. So I've been testing this out for the past couple of weeks, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my experience using it. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how this compares to some of the other popular tech bags that we featured on the channel. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, I really like the overall aesthetic. In general, the Thule bags that I've tested out have a very kind of techy and futuristic vibe, and I like that this bag in particular has more of a subdued aesthetic. It's not minimal, as it still has a lot of pockets and zippers and attachment points, but it just feels almost more outdoorsy than many of their other offerings. Reminds me a little bit of something like a North Face backpack without getting quite as technical with, bungee cords and everything like that. So it's a nice balance that I feel is still professional enough to take into an office setting, but is going to be versatile enough to take into the outdoors for travel or exploring a city. As far as the materials, on the exterior, this is made out of a 500D nylon, which feels like it's going to hold up well to rougher usage and offer a decent amount of weather resistance. Also helps keep the bag fairly light. It comes in at just over 2 pounds. And then you have some nice YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, on the front you have the typical Thule logo, which stands out a little bit more than I know many people would like, but to me it kind of blends in fairly well into this particular bag. You also have some attachment points at the bottom. This might be a good spot to place something like a bike light, and then you have some compression straps that are going to be good for holding larger items that don't fit in the bag, such as a tripod or a yoga mat. And then I was really happy to see that you have 2 external water bottle compartments. Currently what I have here is the same 20-ounce water bottle that you've seen in a lot of my other daily bag videos. These compartments offer a nice amount of elasticity. They don't feel super sturdy, and they're slightly more shallow than I would like to see. So if you have something a little taller, I'd be worried about it potentially tipping out. But for the water bottle that I normally carry, they do the job fine. And with this elastic material, they don't stick out too much when you're not using it, to still help the bag keep a pretty clean look overall. Moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 22 liters, which to me is a really great daily bag size. It's able to hold all the items that I normally like to carry with me, and it still has a little bit of leftover space without becoming overwhelming for day-to-day use. And the bag does have a decent amount of volume in its external compartments, so if you pack everything out completely, it will tend to stick out a little bit, but it's not so much that it would be uncomfortable to take, around a crowded city or for jumping onto public transit. Taking a look at the straps and the back paneling, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable. These straps have an okay amount of padding. They do feel slightly thinner, in my opinion, than some of the other Thule bags that we featured. Those usually have just a little more kind of cushioning on the inside. It doesn't really have a super breathable kind of meshy material. This is soft and comfortable, but it doesn't feel as breathable as some of their other bags. And then these straps do have a nice width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders. And you also have an adjustable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. As far as the back paneling, this has been a little bit more comfortable. The padding that's included here feels a little thicker and more robust. It has the same material that we saw on the straps, which is kind of a soft, not super breathable mesh, but it's felt nice on the back even when I've been wearing this for a longer period of time. You also have some air channels here and some elevation to provide airflow while you're walking around throughout the day. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag has a nice variety of pockets all throughout. At the top here, you have the very classic Thule kind of safe zone compartment, which is very rigid and protective for more delicate items if you want to store something like your sunglasses or your phone. It has this nice zipper pull with the blue Thule kind of accenting that is very easy to open the compartment up with. And on the inside of here, you have a nice amount of volume for the items that you might want to store, plenty of space for things such as your sunglasses, even with the case, which is what I have here. I didn't really place anything else because there's plenty of organization throughout the rest of the compartment. The inside here is a pretty soft lining. You also have a separate compartment for something like your phone. In my case, I just put my AirPods Pro and those fit in there comfortably. And then what's nice about this version of the bag is you can actually pull out this hard shell from the inside of the compartment if you don't want it to be as rigid, if you just prefer to have a little bit more flexibility in the compartment. It's nice that you can do that and leave it at home. Moving down along the front of the bag, you have another quick access, simple compartment here, which is gonna be a great spot to grab those items that you need to reach quickly while you're on the go. I like the vertical orientation of the zipper so you can swing the bag around without taking it off. In this pocket, I just stored a portable battery that I got. This is from Anchor, and this actually attaches to my phone magnetically. I'm using the iPhone 13, so it's really nice to kind of be able to take advantage of that MagSafe functionality. And then in this compartment, I also have a lightning cable and power brick if I actually need to charge my phone when I get to my office or something like that. On the inside of this compartment, no other internal organization, just a nice amount of space for anything that you might want to toss in here. And then behind that, you have a larger compartment that has some internal organization. It also has a pretty decent amount of volume. This is one of those that I was mentioning expands out quite a bit. You can see that it's kind of gusseted and it'll start to expand if you have something a little bit thicker that you want to store in here. And on the inside of here, I just tossed in a lot of different stuff. Even on the front, there's plenty of volume here for things like pouches. So I have my Tom Benn Ghost Whale pouch, which fit in there very easily. I also have a little tin with some Band-Aids and ointment. And then on the back of this compartment, you have a few slip pockets. So in this one here on the left, I just stored my Apple Magic Mouse. No elasticity in these compartments, so you can see that the items are pretty loose. And then on the right, I have my BluePop portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank. And then in front of that, you just have a slightly larger slip pocket, which is gonna be a good spot for a tablet, a notebook, or in my case, I have my Amazon Kindle. And then the last compartment in here is this zippered mesh compartment. It's nice that it's mesh, so as usual with these, you can see what's on the inside. And this is just currently housing a deck of playing cards and then the little manicure set that I like to carry with me. The next area that we're gonna take a look at is the laptop compartment. And so it has a separate laptop area on the back that's covered with this little flap. The zipper doesn't have an aqua guard, so I guess this flap is intended to give you that extra bit of protection. If you happen to get caught in some rain, it can be a little bit annoying to kind of get this open with the flap. You just kind of pull it back so that you can easily access this zipper, which actually does work smoothly. And then on the inside, you have just plenty of space for your devices. You have a separate tablet sleeve here on the front of the compartment. Currently, I just have my iPad mini that fits in there easily, but this would be able to hold a full-size 10-inch tablet pretty comfortably. This sleeve is not super padded, but it does have a little bit of protection for your device. And then for the laptop, this will definitely be able to hold a 15 or 16-inch laptop comfortably. Currently have my 13-inch MacBook Pro, and the compartment offers a decent amount of padding. This is a bag that has what they call, 360 protection. It has a border that's padded. One thing that I did notice, however, is that it's not quite suspended, and if you happen to have a newer, kind of thinner laptop, it can tend to still feel like it's touching the bottom of the ground. It feels like it kind of just slips in between the cracks. So I think this was, intended for thicker devices. It's not quite as suspended as some of the other laptop sleeves that I've seen, but it still does a pretty decent job. Let me pull my device out here first, and then you can get a better look at the inside. No sort of fleece lining or anything like that. It does come up a decent amount. Again, if you have a thicker device, it should fit in there comfortably. No sort of fleece lining or anything like that. So I do wish that the padding here had been just a little bit better, particularly on the bottom for thinner devices, or that it had been suspended. But regardless, it still feels like it's gonna keep devices protected pretty well throughout the day. And then the last area that we're gonna take a look at is the main compartment. And so this does have a clamshell style opening, which I really love. It opens up flat so you can see what's on the inside and easily pack everything out. It's also a pretty simple layout, so it's gonna be able to handle bulkier items well. You can see there's some leftover space even with the items that I have in here. Jumping into those items, at the top here I have my Matador Nano Dry Shower Towel. I also have my Beat Studio wireless headphones with their hard shell case. I have the Evergood Civic Access pouch, which has been the tech and EDC organizer that I've been using the most recently. Really love this. I'll make sure to link to the review that I did for this in the description below. And then I also have a full-size moleskin notebook. And the last item that I have in here is my Levitate portable standing desk. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside, so no sort of internal organization or compression straps, just a really simple bucket of space. This is also going to work well if you want to use this for a quick weekend trip. I could definitely toss in my larger double-sided packing cube, a dop kit, maybe an extra pair of shoes, and then I'd be good to go. So I really love the overall space and layout offered throughout the bag. A really great design. It feels solidly built, and if you're looking for a versatile tech and everyday bag that's going to offer plenty of organization, and this is going to be a fantastic option to check out. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Stravan backpack over the past couple of weeks, and you can currently purchase this on Amazon for around $100. I've seen the price fluctuate a little bit. I'm sure you can also find it on Thule's official site. I've also seen it at places such as Best Buy. At that $100 price point, it feels like a pretty reasonable price point considering the features and build quality that it has to offer, and it also compares well to other similar bags in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, the first bags this made me think of were some of the other great offerings from Thule that we featured on the channel, such as their en route backpack and their accent backpack in particular. Those were very solid tech and everyday bags that had a much more just kind of futuristic vibe. They were a little bit darker. They had a lot of great organizational pockets, laptop protection that was very solid. And that's what I've always liked about Thule's bags, that they give you a lot of different spots to have everything that you might need, particularly if you carry a lot of tech, if you're working from an office and transporting all your stuff on the day-to-day. They also have comfortable harness systems, good weather resistance, and they come in at a pretty similar price point. So it's reasonable if you have a budget of around $100, $120 and you're just looking for a reliable bag that's going to give you a lot of features. Those are going to be fantastic options to check out. The next bag this made me think of is the North Face Surge, which we looked at pretty recently on the channel, and that was a really solid all-purpose bag that offers a little more capacity than this. It comes in at 30 liters. It feels a little bit bigger, but it just has lots of organization for all of your tech and everyday essentials. It has good laptop protection, lots of weather resistance, and a very comfortable harness system. That one's gonna come in at around $130, so pretty close in price. And if you're looking for something that has a little bit of an outdoorsy vibe, if you like the North Face's bags and you want something that's gonna be comfortable and very protective for all of your tech, then that's gonna be a great option to keep in mind. Another bag this made me think of is the Bellroy Classic Backpack Plus, which we looked at a long time ago on the channel. They've released a version 2 of that bag that I haven't had a chance to test out, but the original version of that backpack was fantastic to use. It had an awesome organizational layout. It came in at about 24 liters of capacity, so it could hold a lot. It was very comfortable. It also has Bellroy's solid build quality, good laptop protection. It didn't have, all the same pocketing that this bag had here, but the pockets that it did include were very effectively laid out. You just had a lot of space, particularly if you like to use pouches. And so it's a very solid bag. It's gonna be in a little bit of a higher price range than this, but if you're looking for something that's pretty sophisticated, minimal in its styling, that's gonna work great in a professional setting, it's gonna offer great protection and comfort, and that's gonna be another great option to check out. And then the last bag that I'll mention here is the Air Lunar Pack, which was probably my favorite bag of the past year. There's so many things that I liked about that bag. It's a collaboration that Air did with Ministry of Supply. It has a really simple, clean aesthetic and organizational layout. It has great laptop protection, comfortable harness system, has a pretty subdued aesthetic, much like this one, especially from a company like Air that has pretty techie vibes. I was happy to see that they have a little bit more of a just minimal vibe, which is kind of like the Strävan with Thule, which doesn't have their typical techie aesthetic. So if you like that type of a vibe, the Lunar Pack is also going to be clamshell style opening like this, suspended laptop compartment. It still has enough organization for the items that you might need. It has a really interesting water bottle pocket implementation. It doesn't have the same thing as this, but it just keeps a little bit of a cleaner overall aesthetic, kind of checks off all the boxes for what I would be looking for out of my ideal backpack. And if you have a little bit of a higher budget at around $170, $180 and you want a simple and really effective backpack, then that's gonna be one of the best options that you can take a look at. With that being said, the Stravan backpack holds up really well against those options, and if you're looking for a versatile and reliable bag that's going to offer tons of organization and space for everything that you might need to carry with you, then this is going to be a fantastic option to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the Stravan backpack and how it compares to some of the other great tech and EDC bags that we featured on the channel in the past. And if there are any similar options that you think I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.